So good morning everyone, welcome to Satsang. Let's make some silence first. Welcome everyone. Just reminding that we use WhatsApp as a means of communication. You can send your questions directly to me. Number appears there. Comments. It is raining here, so light is not the best. Morning, my friend. I will answer your questions now. Répondre. So, what is a person? What is the individual? Who am I? Or in this case, what am I? What are the problems? How to end suffering and come back to be and becoming you. Well, let's start with the person. What is the individual? The individual is the possible interpretation of the experience through the body-mind complex and its surroundings. Identity is all there is. I is all there is. So this experience through the body-mind complex is interpreted as the individual. What is the person? What is the individual? What is the person? What is the individual? What am I? So this experience of individuality, like I said, it's the possible at this point through this body-mind complex. Let's look at the dream again. It's a good example because it gives you a clear notion of what isn't. It doesn't give a notion of what is, it gives a notion of what isn't. So in the dream, this body, what you call reality, disappears. You disappear, and you find yourself in another body, in another reality. There's a new body, new circumstances. And they all appear together. First, the sense of existence, the I, then the rest appears simultaneously. So, this body-mind complex, or the individual and its surrounding, they are the same. They are of the same nature. There's existence, I, and there's the phenomenon, the appearance of the body-mind and its surroundings, what you call your place, country, your planet, galaxy, so on. And the dream reveals what that is. It comes out of nowhere and disappears into nowhere. With this clear vision of the dream, you come to the conclusion it's not real. It was a dream. It was a dream means it wasn't real. Too bad you cannot take that to what you call reality. I'll put this a little bit here, closer. Aparece aí, Jader. It is. Okay. If you remember what it's like to enter a dream and to exit a dream, you'll see clearly it's a phenomenon that takes shape simultaneously. You go into something which is already happening, flowing, whatever that means. It has a life of its own, and it ends abruptly. Not when the story finishes. You didn't enter in the beginning of the story. It was the beginning for you. And you exit without an ending. It's a phenomenon. And none of that is you. Unlike in a dream, when you know it's a dream, it doesn't make sense to invest time in it, to invest to protect yourself, to survive, to feel safe, and all of that because it's a dream. It is giving you a feedback of what you consider reality, the absence of the deal. So everything is there, is being superimposed on this I. And this I gets impressed by it and feeds it with importance, sustaining it this way. Well, this is very summarized. It's trying to make it simple. What are problems? Well, from delusion of believing it real experience, as you do in what you call reality or in what you called previously a dream. Same behavior, because same delusion. So, as being there, you envision infinite possibilities. And infinite possibilities because now you believe that it is real and you are that. And as you identify with that limited condition, find ways to fulfill it. And this is a natural undertaking because the real limitation is illusion. Fulfilling it is waking up. But that's interpreted from the stance from where you are, from where it's possible. So it is about fulfilling the gaps, whatever the meaning is for you. And as you envision unlimited possibilities, you set up a course according to your own beliefs of what is happiness, according to the image of happiness that you carry. And whatever is there, creating obstacles for you to create this ideal image, those are your problem. That is what you consider a problem. Whatever threatens your idea of happiness. That's all. Nothing more to it. For the seeker of truth, there's only teachings, revelations, not problems. It is always opportunity to understand a little bit more, to envision a little bit more of illusion, thus creating this distance towards it, this dispassion. So these are problems. And how to end suffering. And go back being human, this I didn't understand. This is probably this is confusion. Because, well, you were never human, so whatever that means. There's no way back to it. So how to end suffering? And the question is, what am I? The previous question you ask is, what am I? So this answer solves the last question, how to end suffering. And it's simple. Recognize the dream, wake up from the dream. Recognize the dream can be done intellectually. Getting out of the dream, that is something else. It's complex because depending on the depth that things have on you, then there's no such thing as these distinctions, mind, feelings, all of this. But okay, for just for understanding sake. So love, but not just any love. Devotion, divine love, it is the vehicle to transcend illusion. Because everything else is connected to the, so it supports it, maintains it. Okay, I will answer your question now. Dear Shima, in the post, transform the mind into an instrument. I need clarifying. In some teachings, I often hear, oh, everything is self, so everything is perfect. Teaching that I find difficult to integrate. Does your point, does your post point to it? Ah. The self manifests thoughts according to our desires and aversions. By reacting to them, the mind uses us. Not react to it, it is dissolved, the mind into the self. You say the mind, thought, uses the self. What do you think is, oh, soi, okay, French, okay. What do you think I is? Is it this infinite consciousness where everything emerges and everything dissolves? So much for enlightenment. So when I say transform the mind into an instrument, I'm talking about cutting this identification with the mind as the I, because this is what happens usually. The mind takes the place of the I, and it is my thoughts, and so it is my will. It isn't. And well, it's like one employee of yours has taken over your company and is taking care of it as its own. You're letting it. And it's doing that not according to your best interests. So it is taking back what is yours and putting the mind in its own place. And the mind is an instrument of perception, period. And in the quest for truth, it is that which asserts and maintains silence at all times, not just at random times, specific chosen times. So the mind, it is supposed to be transformed into an instrument that you use. And by using it, there's a separation that comes naturally, a deeper sense of separation. Previously to that, there's confusion of I with the mind. As you train it, this separation becomes more visible. Then, as it is trained, it becomes a tool that you use when you want to use, not that it is using you. As you train your mind to be still, as it becomes more better trained, it will take care of silence. It will observe its own movement and end it immediately, restoring silence or not disturbing silence. So it's like a tool that has the power to disassemble. Assembling, and the opposite of that. The opposite of assembling. Disassemble itself. Not sure if it's like this the word, but I think you get the point. So this is what I was talking about. And this is why this teaching is important, because everything is self, so everything is perfect. A teaching that I find difficult to integrate. Well, the majority finds difficulty integrate this teaching, not on an intellectual level, but really integrate this teaching because, well, like I've seen many times, for those who embrace these teachings, but then in practical terms, like I've explained already, there's these gray areas. They are not touched by this teaching, which is about securing your security, your pleasure, your prosperity. There's no perfection here. Here you have to work to invest only spirituality from the point of view of spirituality. Only from there it is perfect. So contemplate on these teachings. A very big level of silence has to be there. When I say a very big level of silence, it means that you have overcome already your fears about insecurity, your need to control, your dependencies. And this is a lot. This is a lot. You have to already train your mind to be still. Because without these things, you cannot see this for real. Just imagination. But this is the highest teaching. course. It's like looking at a high place. Oh, that's the highest point. I want to reach there. There's a path that takes me there. And the rest is too much concepts, too much. And these are useless. So having the concept about the self, it's good, but you have to see things for yourself. Because the mind picks up the concept and starts elaborating on it. It means nothing, just noise. If you give the right steps in the right direction, you'll start seeing things for what they are. And this is the important part. Seeing things. So another question which was received was, what is the difference between belief and faith? Well, the belief is something that you think you know. Like a deeper knowing, like the beliefs of I'm the body-mind complex. You don't say, oh, I'm the body-mind complex. You may say, I'm not the body-mind. It doesn't matter. But if you're defending the body-mind, if you're protecting it, then that is a belief, expression of the belief that you are the body-mind complex. Faith is something you aspire to, is a concept that you may understand intellectually, but has no deep roots in yourself. So when you say, I'm not the body-mind complex, if you're not self-realized, then it is faith. That which you are affirming, that which has deep roots, is belief. More or less. Words are tricky, and well, this is more or less the context these words are used. At least in these posts, all these things. So when I speak about breaking your beliefs, it's those beliefs that have deep roots in yourself, that you affirm every day. Even if you're speaking the opposite, it's what you're really affirming. Oh, I'm not the body-mind complex, but then I'm afraid to die. What dies? Body-mind. The body in this case. So, if you're defending it against death, so what is your belief? So when you say I'm not the body mind, well, you can be expressing it at the level of faith. It makes sense. Want it to be real? And you're aspiring to that. So when this non-dual path becomes possible, like I said previously, a lot of these things that were there, dependency, fear, sense of weaknesses, impurity, anger, lust, hate, blah, blah, blah. All these things are not there or have reduced by a tremendous amount. This you will see not in the winter or in the summer, no, not in the spring or in the summer, but in winter. And now and then comes a situation, a test for you to see where you at. And some sort of circumstances, unexpected, that mess with your sense of security, that with your how do you call it, with your emotional strength, something that comes to test what is there really. And this is where you have the opportunity to see, because things become much more intense. Control is lost, or the idea of control. Because in the spring and in the summer, it's very nice to practice these things, but, well, without that pressure and intensity, it's limited to see how deep is this being worked on. And then winter comes, and either you see that this work was done very good, or you'll discover that there's a lot of work to be done. And the advice is, do it on that winter. Don't wait for spring again, because spring and summer, they offer very less opportunity. So the advice is, create your own winter. Because during winter, yes, it's more difficult because it's more intense, but at the same time, by being more intense, it's more visible. The structures of illusion become more visible. Hence, you can observe them. By observing them, it's more difficult to get swayed by them. So create your own winter. See this, seekers always defending their peace. So they always want spring and summer. When autumn comes, they become nervous. Winter comes, collapses. But winter is very good for those who want to work seriously. It's difficult, yes. It's intense, yes. And it is from this that opportunity comes. Because the sense of logic, which more or less becomes the base for the credibility of illusion, starts getting lost when it becomes intense. And when you start to finding a place within yourself where you can observe more, when you get less impressed, illusion starts becoming more desperate in a sense. It will attack you desperately, bring you back to the same level of being impressed that you were previously. And these attacks become so nonsensical that it becomes obvious. The nature of its reality. So either you are becoming more impressed, seeing less, or illusion, it's getting more desperate and showing more of itself. for you to be able to see, you have to endure discomfort. Because when discomfort increases, you tend to close your eyes. What you think is just to get out from that, get out from that. You cannot look. You have to learn how to look the middle of the pain, open your eye and see beyond the pain. So winter brings the biggest opportunity. But all periods are important because during spring, summer, and autumn, well, you practice, you strengthen yourself, you prepare yourself. And in winter, you survive and you strive. So everything is a part. So you have to resist this natural tendency of rejecting winter, forgetting about the work in winter, just wanting to work in spring and summer. Okay. So even not being at this level of perception, having the vision of the concept is important, and trying to live by it. This is how you enable the vision. So next satsang will be Wednesday, 9 a.m., 9:30 in the morning, Brazilian time, UTC -3. Then make the best use of your time. Make it. And remember, look at your dream. And if you were in the dream, what you call the dream, would you use your time to build a career, secure, to establish a family? Would you desire to do that with your time, knowing? Now look at what you call reality and imagine if it was a dream, will you be using your time in the same way? Because when you're in what you call a dream, you do the same. If you had the time available and the same circumstances, you would be investing full of worries in the same way. Look at how you're using your time with this vision. Reflect, realize.